This is my Simagic P1000. I've been using them for more than a year now. Today I'll be taking you through my journey with it, and ultimately, I will answer the question, would I still buy them again today? And just to be clear, I bought this with my own cash. No sponsors, no affiliations of any kind. Although Simagic, if you're listening, my inbox is open. Alright, let's dive in. About a year ago, I was ready to move on from my Fanatec Club Sport V3 pedals. They had served me well for a couple of years. But like many of you, I eventually caught the upgrade bug. So I went down the rabbit hole. Forums, YouTube, Reddit, and the Simagic P1000 kept popping up. I ended up grabbing the 2-pedal version, throttle and brake only, since I mostly race GT and Formula style cars with the sequential gearboxes. No clutch needed. I've also added the hydraulic brake module for a more realistic feel, and I picked up a pair of the PHPR haptic motors, which were getting a ton of hype back then. And funny enough, the brake upgrade kit just showed up in the box. I didn't even remember ordering them. Turned out it was one of the most impactful upgrades in the whole setup. As for the RGB version, I skipped it. I'm racing VR only, so I can't see anything outside the headset. From the moment I unboxed the P1000, it feels like a serious high-end gear. The CNC machined aluminum, black anodized finish, and the rock-solid build gave it a real motorsport equipment feel. No flags, no rattles. Even the tiny details impressed me. The laser adjustment markers on the pedal arms are surprisingly useful for fine-tuning the perfect ergonomic positions, and the vibration motor power ports are thoughtfully positioned, making clean cable management much easier. These aren't just the cosmetic touches. They are signs that Simagic actually thought about how people would use this gear in real-world setups. The control box deserves a shout out too. It's made of a metal, feels solid, and most importantly, it helps to reduce electromagnetic interference, or EMI, which could distort electronic signals. That is actually a big deal for me, especially since I run a motion rig. In fact, one of the reasons I moved away from the Fanatec V3s was because of the EMI issue. Whenever I powered on the motion system, the brake signal would start jumping up and down, making the car completely undrivable. With the P1000, those problems just vanished. The PHPR haptic motors also feel solid and well built, with the metal housings that match the rest of the setup. Installing them was super easy. They bolt straight onto the pedals using the provided brackets. The cables are the right length, and plug into ports that are smartly placed for clean cable management. It all feels purpose-built, not just like afterthought accessory. Now, after countless hours, the P1000 still feels basically brand new. Nothing's loose, no worn-out parts, no squeaks, and there's no maintenance required for the brake hydraulic cylinder. It's pretty much set and forget. You just drive it. Now, beyond the solid build, what really makes the P1000 stand out for me is how insanely adjustable and modular it is. So let's kick things off with the mechanical tweaks you can make. You can raise or lower each pedal by simply shifting the pedal plates into the pre-drilled holes. Takes about 2 minutes with the Allen key and you dialed in. And then there's the pedal angle. Simagic gives you the edged adjustment markers on the pedal arms, so you can tilt each pedal with precision. Adjusting the pedal spacing is also pretty easy. Just to simply reposition the pedals into the pre-drilled mounting points and try out different settings. You can even adjust the pedal travel by tweaking the screws at the bottom, letting you control exactly how far each pedal moves. The braking firmness is also tunable. You can swap in different elastomers, springs, or even mix both to get the exact feel you want, from soft and progressive to firm and aggressive. I highly recommend getting the brake upgrade kit. It dramatically improves the brake feel. Mine happen to come bundled with the pedals, but as far as I know, it's usually sold separately. On top of that, the modular design means you're not locked into anything. You can start with a base 2-pedal setup like I did, and later bolt on the clutch, hydraulic module, or vibration motors. Everything is plug and play, no rewiring, no modifications. Moving on to the software side of things, Simagic's own software is the same Pro Manager, and honestly it's pretty straightforward and user-friendly. One of the standout features is the 3-point curve editor. You can set a start, middle, and end point for any pedal, and the software automatically connects the dots to create a smooth response curve. However, when it comes to the haptic motor settings, I found the functionality is limited in the same Pro Manager. I recommend switching to SimHub, which offers way more fine-tuning options than just the vibration strength and frequency in the same Pro Manager. Alright, let's talk about what really matters. How do this pedal actually feel to drive? Coming from the Fanatec V3s, the P1000 was an immediate step up. Right away, it feels more mechanical, more direct, and way more planted on the foot. After doubting the right mix of elastomers and the springs, the feel of the brake pedal completely transformed. It's smooth and progressive, firming up predictably the deeper you go. Just like a real car brake, soft at first, then building resistance under load. That kind of feedback is exactly what you need when trail braking into a tight apex at edge of grip. Because the spring and elastomer combo is fully tunable, I've got mine set up so I can modulate with the toe pressure, not just the leg force. That's made a huge difference, especially in racing, where precise brake control can make or break your lap.
The next car is...
Overall, I feel the P1000 gives me more trust in my input. And in sim racing, trust equals confidence, and confidence equals pace. I'm still miles off aliens, but at least now I know it's not the hardware that's holding me back. Let's talk about a couple of small issues I noticed over the past year. First up, the edges around the pedal face screw holes are a little bit sharp. Not a huge deal, but if you like driving barefoot or in socks, especially thin ones, you might find it a bit uncomfortable during longer sessions. I mostly drive with thicker socks. It's totally fine for me. Another issue is with the brake rubber elastomer. If you press and hold the brake, especially under medium to heavy pressure, the registered brake force can slowly fade, even though your foot hasn't moved. What's actually happening is that the elastomer compresses when you apply brake pressure, but then the rubber relaxes slightly over time. That tiny rebound causes the low cell sensor to register a small dropping force. It's not a massive issue, but if you are chasing consistency in threshold braking, it can be noticeable. Luckily, the fix is pretty easy. You can either swap to the Hall effector sensor mode, which measures the brake angle instead of the pressure, or mixing some springs from the performance kit, which helps stabilize the rubber rebound. I went with the second option, combining springs and elastomers, and it made a noticeable difference. After over a year with the Simagic P1000, racing nearly every day, tuning, upgrading, just living with them. Back to the original question, would I still buy them again? Yes, absolutely. I will 100% buy them again. These pedals have held up incredibly well. The build is rock solid. CNC aluminum, no flex, no rattles, and they still feel basically brand new after hundreds of hours. They're also super easy to adjust. You can dial in pretty much everything: height, angle, thrill, firmness. It's all clearly marked and easy to tweak. The modular design means you can start simple and build as you go. Whether it's a clutch, hydraulic module, or haptic motors, all plug and play. And performance-wise, it's a big leap from my old V3s. The brake feel, throttle control, mid-corner confidence, it all adds up to more trust and more pace. And those haptic motors, once dialed in through SimHub, they become a real advantage, not just a gimmick. Yes, there are a couple of quirks, like sharp pedal edges for stock races and some minor brake fade with long holds, but both are easily fixable. I know it's not a cheap upgrade, but it's the one that still feels worth it every time I sit in the rig. So if you are on the fence, go for it, you won't regret it. Unless active pedals magically go half price next year, these are staying in my rig for a long time.